Hi guys, it's Mary with Big on Books. I am here today to bring you the Goodreads tag, and this is quite an old tag. However, my many years on BookTube, I still have yet to do it. So that's what we're doing today, and that is what we are about to start. So first of all, if you don't know me, like I said, my name is Mary. Two, if you don't know what Goodreads is, how do you not know what Goodreads is? It's basically, I don't want to say it's Facebook for readers, but it's where you can just like mark all the books you've read, mark all the books you want to read, books you're like currently reading. I spend way more time on it than I actually should. And that is all I'm going to say about that. Besides the fact that it's kind of addictive. The QR scanner is addictive. I literally will just go around Barnes and Noble and just like scan books and be like, add. Probably half of my time in Barnes & Noble has been spent adding books to my wish list instead of like to my TBR instead of actually like buying the book. So I'm definitely obsessed with Goodreads, and I don't know why I haven't done this tag sooner, but let's get started. So the first question is, what is the book you read, what is the last book that you read or marked as read? So I actually just finished this last night. It is There's Somebody in Your House by Stephanie Perkins. And I'm actually going to film a review on this. I still have to get my thoughts together. I have a mini review on Goodreads, but which is just so jumbled in thought. I had just finished it and I was just like, I don't know what to think about this. So like, give me a few days to like put my thoughts into words and actually think about an actual review that's going to sound coherent in some way. I did not find that book, I don't want to say good. I just don't think horror is Stephanie Perkins' new style. If I just want to say one thing, I think of Stephanie Perkins as writing fun and flitty and gooey romance stories, and that's how I want to think of her, and because I love Anna and the French Kiss. So I think she could kind of maybe stick to that, but that's all I'm going to say right now until my review comes up. So question 2 is, what are you currently reading? And that would have to be The Romanov Sisters by Helen Rappaport. If you don't know who the Romanovs are, they were this family that ruled Russia for 300 centuries up until the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II in, oh my god, was it 1916? 1917? Oh my god. Like, I feel so bad because I read so much about the Romanovs and now I can't remember. But, like, Tsar Nicholas abdicated the throne. You may be more familiar with the story of Anastasia Romanov, whose body they couldn't find. Actually, when they dug up the Romanov family from where they were buried after they met their death, in 1918, and so there were all these Anastasias coming forward, which sparked the 1997 musical animated Fox movie with, you know, Once Upon a December, Journey to the Past, that starring Meg Ryan, and that has become a cultural phenomenon. But I really am enjoying this book so far. I'm like halfway through it. It is slow at times, but that's because some of the content I'm not as interested in as, say, like others. I'm not really as interested in the mother as Alexandra getting ill, because I already know that from reading other books, from reading other Romanov books. I'm more interested in kind of seeing the sisters and their lives and the mischief they get up into. So I can't wait to finish that. That's going to be a good read. a good finish to a read. The third book is, what's the last book you marked as to be read? And that would be Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I actually remember when I didn't know this was a book actually. The movie came out before I knew it was a book, obviously. I was little when the movie came out. I wanted to see the movie. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it a few years later. But I found out there was a book, and I really loved the movie, which prompted me to read the book, which I found at Half Price Books one day, probably about 2 years ago. I have not picked up this book since. So, and it's not that long of a book. Like, I could probably get this done in like a day and a half, maybe even a day. It's only 333 pages, so I could probably get this finished. And it like has a movie cover on it, which is like perfectly fine. But I'm just saying that because now I'm noticing there are pictures in the middle of the book from the movie. I don't know why I marked this last. I think I took it off my shelf and took it off my Goodreads and wanted to like put it away or like give it back because I haven't like read it. But like I guess like I decided, you know what, I'm gonna read this. So I think that's why I bought it. I can't exactly remember why though. But the next question is, what book do I plan on reading next? And I signed up for this August twin thing, and like that partner, like the reading partner thing you usually find on Goodreads, that partner hasn't really like emailed me back. So in the meanwhile, I'm going to read Avalon High by Meg Cabot because like I'm really interested in kind of Arthurian legend, and this is kind of like a modern, not modern, but like this girl goes to school and finds like that her classmates could be rooted in Arthurian legend, and like it's not that big of a book. It's kind of a short read. So, and I need a short read. So many of my books the past few weeks have been so long reads, which is why it's taken me so long to get through them, because they've been like 350, 400 plus pages. It's been nuts. So this is 288 pages, or this. The twin also has this on their Goodreads shelf. So maybe two at the same time? The next question is, do you use these star ratings? Okay, so this is kind of a gray area question because I do use them, but I also don't. I use them because, like, I obviously want to tell people how I feel about the book. Like, if I really love the book, I'm obviously going to give it 5 stars. If I'm okay about the book, I'm going to give it 3 stars. But, like, there are some books like Harry Potter and the Cursed Child where I just did not use the star system. I was just like, no, I'm not gonna rate it. Did I use the star system? I actually can't remember. There's one book I remember that I didn't use the star system. I did not, because I did not know how I felt about it. So, like, there are times when I do and times when I don't, especially when I want to use a half star. Goodreads, please add half stars, because I feel like if you need a half star or even a quarter star sometimes, you're caught between that 3 stars or 4 stars if you're like a 3.5er. If you've read a 3.5 book, because like you didn't like it enough to give it 3 stars, but you didn't love it enough to give it 4 stars. So you have to rate it somehow. What can you rate it? either is it less than what you thought or better than what you thought? So yes and no. I try to, but at the same time it's like, you know, maybe I'll just write a review instead. The next question is, are you doing a 2018 reading challenge? I am. It's 75 books. I put that pretty high for the pure fact that last year was 107, but also looking back, last year was a lot of graphic novels too. But yeah, and comic books. But yeah, I kind of use it as a motivator because, like, obviously I haven't read all of these books on my shelves, and like I said before, this isn't even all of my books. I have more books upstairs and around the house somewhere. But I kind of use it as a motivator to get me to read more, because I put it at 25, I put it at 50. Usually I just up it until, like, it goes high enough that I just want to, like, stop, or I stop it somewhere where I think is enough. And this time I think I've kind of set it maybe a teeny bit too high, because I'm kind of getting burned out every once in a while, which is why I think I've gotten ahead of a book once, or like one book ahead once. Usually I'm somewhere between right on track or 3 to 4 books behind. So 75 books this year is tough, but I'm like 44 books in, so I can't stop now. Wish me luck. The next question 7 is, do you have a wish list? No, and I absolutely have no idea what a wish list is. If you would like to tell me down below, I've looked this up, I can't find it. If you would like to tell me what it is down below, if it's like an Amazon wish list kind of thing, if it's like an Audible where it's like my next to buy or something, like, please let me know, because I don't have one. I don't know exactly what it is, and I don't exactly want one either, because, like, I don't even know what my next buy is going to be. So all of the books on my to be read I want to buy, so I'm just going to keep them on my to be read. The next question is, what book do I plan to buy next? Okay, well, that just answered. No, but I actually just bought a book last night with my Audible credit called Royals by Rachel Hawkins, which I've really been wanting to read, or I guess listen to now. But so I don't think I'll be buying anything for a while. If I had to, it would be A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, but I don't plan to buy anything for a little while. My next question is, do you have any favorite quotes? Would you like to share a few? I do have many. I can't remember them right now. A lot of them are shipping quotes. Like a Jamie Fraser one would be like telling Claire when he first fell in love with her or something. So it will be like shipping quotes. But there's this one I really like, and I forgot who like wrote it or who said it, but it was about how you should date a girl who reads and all these reasons why. And it's one of the most amazing quotes I've ever read, not only book related, but like of all things I've read. So I think that is such an important quote, and I love that quote, but it's way too long to read. Who are your favorite authors is question number 10. So if we're going by Goodreads popularity, I'm going to make a little side note here and say that the number of books actually is off. I don't want to say off, but Phyllis Reynolds' Nailer is number 1. However, the only thing I've read of hers is her Alice series, and I haven't even read the 3 prequels. The series alone is 25 books, okay? So it says I've read 32 of her books. I've read like 25 or 26. I haven't even read the prequels yet, so I've read, the reason why she's number one is because I've read so many of her series. I've read so many books in that series, but other than her, we're going to say Rick Riordan, Cassandra Clare, Allie Carter, J.K. Rowling, Brian K. Vaughan. Brian K. Vaughan is actually a cartoon, not cartoon, he is a comic book drawer. He does Saga and Paper Girls, which I both read. Again, series that like I wouldn't necessarily, that I've read, but I don't think that, like, if it was an author, I would have, like, picked him if this wasn't based on, like, how many books I've read. And also Rochelle Mead. If we are going not off of, Goodreads, it is going to be Allie Carter, Rick Riordan, and, Miranda Keneally. But Miranda Keneally, I love her series, so, like, her Hundred Oaks series. So, again, we're going with the series, but I just love her writing, so there we go. 11, have you joined any groups? Yes, I have. No, I don't participate in a lot of them. It's mainly just, like, book groups and, like, oh, ask Ali Condi this question or whatever, which I have no idea why I'm a part of that group, but like BookTube, new videos, or my library, they use Goodreads, so whenever they do a reading, like a summer reading, winter reading program, whatever, they make a group for it, so I usually join that group, and I'm also part of a 2018 reading challenge right now, so I've joined a lot of groups. I just don't necessarily participate in all of them all the time, and some of them are just, like, kind of dead. Like, the Ali Condi one, never gonna use that again. So, like, I don't even know how to leave the groups. So, I need to find a way to leave the groups. And number 12 is, what could Goodreads do better? 2 words. Star rating. Goodreads, please give us half stars. I need half stars. Please, 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 please. I'm begging you. You would think that after all of these years, you would give us half stars. Please. So that is the Goodreads book tag. I will see you guys soon with a review of There's Somebody in Your House by Stephanie Perkins. And if you want to do this book tag, link your link below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!